Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever looked at an AI trading bot and thought, wait, is this thing actually a financial genius, or is it just cheating by reading the answer key? Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, cutting-edge academic paper called Can Blindfolded LLMs Still Trade? This research introduces an anonymization-first framework called BlindTrade, and it asks a brilliantly simple question. If you take away an AI's ability to recognize famous company names, does its ability to predict the stock market completely collapse? We're going to dive into the hard data to see if artificial intelligence actually understands market dynamics or if it just has an incredibly good memory.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The AI trading illusion. 2. Blindfolding the AI. 3. 4 agents, 1 graph. 4. The lie detector test. 5. Results and market regimes. And finally, 6. The future of AI finance. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The AI trading illusion.
To really grasp why this paper is such a game changer, we've got to ask ourselves, are large language models really market geniuses, or are they just memorizing the past? You see, most financial AI models are trained on massive data sets filled with phrases like Apple stock surges or Tesla rallies. So when an AI model tells you to buy Apple, is it actually reading the market indicators? Or is it simply relying on its pre-trained bias that big tech stocks generally go up? The researchers call this memorization bias.
It's a stark contrast, right? On one hand, you have memorization, which is basically when an AI buys a stock just because it recognizes a familiar ticker symbol. But true understanding, that's when the AI spots strong price momentum, picks up on positive news sentiment, and nails the technical indicators, all without ever knowing the actual name of the company it's analyzing.
All right, moving to Section 2. Blindfolding the AI.
So how do you stop an AI from cheating? Well, you literally blindfold it. In the first stage of their pipeline, the researchers completely stripped away all recognizable info. We're talking swapping out famous tickers, so something like AAPL becomes stock_0026. But they didn't stop there. Using the Google Knowledge Graph, they scrubbed all the financial news, replacing proper nouns like iPhone or Tim Cook with totally anonymous identifiers. They basically snatched away the AI's cheat sheet.
And that brings us to, honestly, the most powerful quote from the entire study. Anonymization is not optional. It is essential. It's a bold claim, for sure, but the logic is airtight. If you do not blindfold your AI, you simply cannot prove that it actually understands the financial markets. Without this step, your AI might just be spitting back its training data, giving you a really dangerous illusion of competence.
Up next, Section 3. 4 agents, 1 graph.
Okay, so once the data is totally anonymized, how does the system actually make sense of it? Well, the researchers built a multi-agent system. Think of it like a room full of specialized financial experts. You've got the momentum trader checking price trends, the news analyst grading the sentiment of those anonymous headlines, the contrarian mean reversion manager looking for overbought or oversold conditions, and the chief risk officer assessing overall systemic risk. And to stop them from accidentally seeing the future, what we call look-ahead bias, these agents are strictly cut off from viewing any data past the day before trading.
Now here's where it gets wild. How do these agents talk to each other? They aren't just spitting out simple buy or sell scores. No, they're actually forced to write out explicit, free-text reasoning to explain their decisions. That text is then mathematically crunched down into 384-dimensional vectors, which feed straight into a specialized network called the SEMGAT encoder.
Let's define what that actually means. SEMGAT stands for Semantic Graph Attention Network, and this is the paper's brilliant solution to the anonymization problem. Because the stocks are completely anonymous, the AI has no idea which ones are related. But SEMGAT dynamically links these unknown stocks together if the AI uses similar logic and reasoning to analyze them. It's essentially rebuilding the entire map of market relationships from scratch, based entirely on the semantic similarity of how the AI thinks.
Which brings us to Section 4, the lie detector test. So we've got this blindfolded system making incredibly complex connections. But how do we know it's not all just statistical noise? Well, the researchers ran a negative control, basically a lie detector test by randomly shuffling the AI's prediction scores. The result? 0. Exactly 0.000. And that is absolutely crucial, because if the system was finding real market signals, destroying those signals should destroy its performance. And that's exactly what happened. The information coefficient, which measures predictive power, dropped instantly to near 0, and the portfolio's returns completely collapsed. This proved, scientifically, that the AI's original signals were genuine. It wasn't just getting lucky.
Let's look at Section 5, Results and Market Regimes.
All right, the moment of truth. Did this blindfolded AI actually survive the real market on unseen data? The answer is a massive yes. Look at the 2025 year-to-date out-of-sample performance. The BlindTrade system hit a staggering Sharpe ratio of 1.40, meaning its returns were fantastic relative to the risk, and it locked in a 32.22% cumulative return, totally crushing the S&P 500 baseline. But there is a trade-off here. Because the AI is always fully invested in stocks with no catch buffer, it accepted a much higher volatility rate of 42.34%. It had to take on more risk to reap those incredible rewards.
To handle that risk, the system uses a reinforcement learning policy. Think of it as the AI's hand, executing trades based on an internal intent. Surprisingly, the AI spent 55% of its time in defensive mode. Now, you might hear defensive and think it's just sitting on its hands doing nothing. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Since it can't retreat to cash, being defensive means it rapidly diversifies across a ton of different stocks. That constant rebalancing to protect itself is what created the highest daily turnover for the system, coming in at 2.9%.
But we've got to talk about a really vital caveat here. The researchers didn't just test 2025. They ran an extended backtest through 2024 as well, and they found a strong regime dependency. Because BlindTrade is inherently cautious and defensive, it absolutely dominated the highly volatile, choppy markets of 2025. But during the massive, smooth, trending bull run of 2024, it actually lagged behind the broader market. So it's a phenomenal tool for uncertainty, but maybe a bit too conservative for a runaway boom.
Finally, Section 6, the future of AI finance.
So, stepping back, what does this all mean for the future of AI? There are three big takeaways from this framework. Step 1, block memorization. You've got to anonymize data to force the AI to actually reason, instead of just regurgitating what it memorized. Step 2, validate your signals. Test your AI relentlessly using negative controls to make sure its predictions aren't just statistical illusions. And Step 3, observe intent. Keep the brain of the AI, the part analyzing the data, separate from the hand making the trades, so you can actually understand what posture the system is taking. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We just saw how blinding an AI to company names forced it to truly understand financial mechanics. So what happens when we apply this to other high-stakes fields? If we strip away patient names and hospital brands, will medical AI get drastically better at diagnosing rare diseases? If we blindfold legal AI to corporate names, does it become a more objective judge? Forced anonymization might just be the ultimate key to unlocking trustworthy AI literally everywhere. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what your AI actually knows.